A pressing concern that requires much needed attention and action from the highest possible authority is the unprecedented number of alcohol-related emergency cases attributed to the unrestricted consumption of alcohol. The Port Moresby General Hospital, running on limited resources during New Year's operations, have had to tend to quite a number of major injury cases, mostly severe brain injuries, all 100% alcohol-related. More staff had to be called in to help out with what was described by the hospital's CEO as unnecessary load in the surgical theatres. As of this morning, an additional 4 were brought in with head trauma injuries.
We have limited number of beds, limited number of surgical ward beds, which we were unable to contain or unable to manage with the huge numbers that came in. Yes, 20 of alcohol-related injuries in the first from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., another 20 after that throughout the night. Most of them major injuries. Some of them are fighting for their lives. Yes. 3 deaths reported in the emergency department. We are trying to manage the normal care, not the other diseases. We have to put off those other elective cases, other cases of cancer that we plan to operate over the weekends. Those people with cancer, we need to operate on them quickly so that the cancer doesn't progress.
The head of the surgical unit describes the overwhelming experience during New Year, stating that never in his years in the surgical unit has he seen such an influx into the theatres, all related to alcohol consumption, tending to patients as young as 11 years old.
This is the first time that we've seen overwhelming patients coming in with unnecessary injury. After screening them, 20 of them needed admission. The ward is full, emergency is full. All the ward in emergency, 150% full. Some patients are on the floor.
Dr. Noah states that this is not normal, and due to the influx and severity of the injury cases, the surgical unit had a very difficult time trying to attend to each case in the shortest possible time.
We categorize them into very dying emergency and the urgent one, and those who can wait. The dying emergency, you need to attend to them right there and then. These are patients who come in bleeding. We need to take them straight to the operating theater right from the emergency.
In spite of the obvious reasons, of course, the hospital CEO emphasized that a root cause analysis needs to be conducted to find out why this is happening.
Root cause analysis of why people are consuming more alcohol than before, because we are seeing the result of it beginning this year. This is very unprecedented. So what has happened in the last few years that has allowed people to drink more than before? So we need to get down to those root cause analysis and see and address them accordingly. So this is what the relevant authorities need to do. Is it the community is accessible to alcohol, cheap alcohol so easily? Is that the cause?
A similar report was reiterated by the CEO of St. John Ambulance, who, in spite of having gone through a sequence of attacks during New Year's, has attended to over 30 cases of head trauma injuries.
Of those emergencies, we saw a higher than normal occurrence of head injuries.
And while police can only do as much as deter crime from happening, distributors must be held equally responsible for what has taken place, and that a call for action needs to come from a higher authority.
We have a statistic that no one can dispute it. It's an authority from the surgeon himself and the CEO of the Port General Hospital. You cannot substitute life, all because we want to benefit from alcohol. And those that are responsible for producing and distributing are just equally responsible to this death. And I call on authorities to look at it, especially the city authorities.
And at Cora, National EMTV News.